Hey everybody, it's Chad from Stick's Blog. I'm Stick, and today I just want to do a quick video and talk about layering systems. Layering system, basically what I'm getting at is my clothing, the different layers of clothing that I wear to stay warm during the winter time or whenever it's cold. I will say to begin the video, I'm not saying that this is the way that everybody should dress, everybody should layer. Everybody is different, so what I'm going to talk about in this video is what I found that works for me. I found that layering can be quite a personal thing. There's a lot of different options out there, so you can choose from a number of different base layers, mid layers, insulating layers, hard shells, wind shells. I mean, there are just so many different types of clothing out there by so many different manufacturers. You know, there's a lot of different ways that a person can decide to layer their clothing to keep them warm. And the stuff that I'm going to show you today is stuff that I found that has kept me warm. I'll also go ahead and say that I do all my hiking in the southeast area, either along the Appalachian Trail or up into the Great Smoky Mountain National Parks. And on very rare occasion, up to this point, I've been a little bit farther north of the Smokies as far as the Roan Highlands. So anyway, the stuff that I've got here, like I said, I found that it works for me. The coldest temperatures I've used it in was about 9 degrees Fahrenheit. And just on up from there. We don't generally get a whole lot of snow. The only time we really get snow that I actually get to hike in is if I do get to get out in the Smokies or along the AT. On occasion, if I chance it right, I'll get to get some snow out there. So I've got some articles of clothing here that I'm just going to talk about briefly. And like I said, this is just what works for me. Maybe this will give you an idea of something that you might want to try. I will say that this is not my end-all layering system. There's one piece in here I'll show you that I'm going to be changing out and trying out a little different. And also I've got some stuff on my Christmas list hoping to get and try out some other stuff. So anyway, just to get started, I'll start with my feet. Generally my feet, I wear either a pair of trail runners or I wear a pair of mid-high boots that are actually Gore-Tex lined. If it's going to be real cold, I'm probably going to wear my boots. And if I'm going to be going through a bunch of snow, I'm definitely going to be wearing my boots. However, if it is like it is out here right now it's like 55 degrees out here. And it's strange because it's December 1st. But it's 55 degrees out here. For sure I would have my trail runners out here. Even if it was going to be a little bit colder and I wasn't planning on experiencing a bunch of snow, I would still probably wear my trail runners. However, like I said, if I do plan on post hole or anything like that, I have a pair of Gore-Tex lined Loa Renegade GTX mid-height boots is what they are. And I found that they work well for me even when I'm post holing. And the most I've post holed in is about knee deep. So you can take that for what it's worth. Also, just to let you know, I don't know how well you can see it, but when it gets cold, I typically break out kind of a not quite calf height sock, but just about to the calf. These are just a pair of Smart Wool mid-weight hiking socks, and I generally wear those during the winter time just to kind of help keep my lower leg a little bit warm, and I'll get to why because of my pants in just a second. But generally I wear that. Like out here today, I could have wore a pair of just a pair of ankle high or just above the ankle socks, and that would have been fine with me today too because 55 degrees is not cold. But if I was expecting temperatures probably lower than freezing, I would probably just go ahead and wear these. Even if I did wear my trail runners, which is what I'm wearing now, my Innovate Rock Lights, and these are not Gore-Tex lined. So, moving on up from my socks, if I am expecting snow, depending on how much I'm expecting, I have two different pair of gaiters, and I forgot to bring those with me. But I have two different pair of gaiters. If I'm just expecting just some light snow, not really a whole lot of snow at all, I've got a pair of Integral Design shorty gaiters that I typically carry. However, if I'm planning on post holing, I've got a pair of OR Rocky Mountain Highs, I believe is what they're called. They're the cheaper version of like the Crocodile, the Outdoor Research Crocodile gaiters, but they're a little bit cheaper. However, as much as I have to use them, I decided to go with those. They do weigh, I can't remember how much they weigh, it's been so long since I've actually had to wear them. However, the gaiters will actually also provide just a little bit of warmth because they'll block, of course, rain or any kind of snow or anything that might get my pants wet. They'll keep my pants dry, so that'll keep my legs warm. Also, they'll block just a little bit of wind as well. Moving on up from that is my pants. These pants I have here, these are the Columbia Silver Ridge 2. They are zip-off pants. I've wore these pants for about the last 4 years, and I absolutely love them. I wore them when I was post-holing, and I've worn them in the middle of the summer when it's probably 100 degrees outside hiking. I just absolutely love them. They're just a thin nylon, lightweight nylon pair of pants. They dry out real easy. They breathe pretty dang good, and they just work for me. They fit me good, and they just work for me. Like I said, wearing the gaiters and all that stuff keeps my lower legs warm, and I am wearing underwear. I'm not going to do a Mike Cleland and pull my pants down out in the middle of the woods, but just to give you an idea of the underwear I do wear, these are just some Under Armour. I also have some ex officios, but they're just kind of the boxer briefs, just to kind of help make sure I don't chafe or anything like that. And these have been all I needed to help to protect me from chafing. But anyway, so that's my pants. Now my top half is a little more technical than my bottom half, just because you know, that's your core, is all this up here. This is your core, and I have to do more to keep that area warm, rather than my legs and my feet and stuff like that while I'm hiking. So saying that, this is my Patagonia Capilene 2. It's a long sleeve shirt. It breathes really well, and I wear this as my mid layer, whether I'm sleeping or whether I'm hiking. Now, if it's temperatures like this, I can just hike in just this right here, and I'll be just fine. Even if it's a little bit cooler, I can hike in just this, and it'll be fine. However, if I'm hiking along and I get just a little bit cool, up to date, what I've decided to reach for is my Patagonia R1, and this is the flash pullover. This isn't the hoodie, and this isn't just the regular pullover. It's the flash pullover. It's got capilene around the wrist. It's got capilene around the hem, the bottom hem, and up underneath the armpits. And essentially that capilene just helps movement as well as blocking off any kind of drafts from sneaking up. And I tell you what, this combination, my Patagonia Capilene 2 and my R1, has been awesome. I mean, I've used this to hike temperatures down in the mid-teens. Is about 15 degrees is what I've hiked in, actually been hiking in, not counting wind chill or anything like that. But these two layers right here have been great. The R1's got a deep zip, so it really vents well, and it's just an awesome setup. I really love this system for me, and it's just really worked. Now earlier this year I decided I wanted to try a wind shirt, and essentially what I would use a wind shirt for is if I'm hiking along, it's cool enough for me to be wearing this, the wind starts blowing or we get a little bit of precipitation, not a whole lot, I can reach in and grab a wind jacket. And the idea between a wind jacket is it's going to breathe better than your hard shell. So supposedly you would be able to wear a wind jacket in a greater range of temperatures than you would be able to a hard shell that doesn't breathe as well. So I would reach and I would grab my hard shell. This is the North Face Verto. I did a review of it a while back. Doesn't have any pockets or anything like that. That's fine though, because while I'm wearing this I'm going to be hiking. But all it is basically it's Pertex Quantum is what the material's made out of. The seams are not taped. It's got a hood on it. So if I do get hot, like I said, I can still unzip my R1 underneath, kind of unzip that a little bit, and I'm good to go. And this is generally all that I've found that I've needed to hike in. I haven't really needed to add any other layers while I'm hiking. However, once I get to camp, if I'm sitting around camp, just these layers here are not going to keep me warm. Down temperatures, even around 25, I'm probably going to start getting cold. Just wearing this if I'm just sitting around, especially if there's no fire. So what I've got for my next layer up on top is going to be my Mont Bell Ultralight Down Inner Parka. And I'm not saying this is right, this is just the way I've always done it. But I just put my parka on over the wind jacket. I have found that these Mont Bell Ultralight parkas, or the Mont Bell jackets, in my opinion, are quite breathable. And they work pretty dang well, in my opinion, at blocking wind also. So I just throw that on. Now I've got two hoods I can choose from. And I'm good to go. Also, another reason I like to wear this on the outside is because this does have pockets. If I'm at camp, chances are I'm going to be walking around or I'm going to be sitting around when I have my hands in my pocket. If I have my windshield on the outside, I can't do that. So, if I'm still sitting around, maybe there's a little too much wind blowing, or maybe I'm just still cold. The last option I've got for my top is my hard shell, and my hard shell of choice at the moment is just simply a Dry Ducks rain set. This Dry Ducks will layer over it, and just in case you're wondering, this is a medium sized Dry Ducks jacket and pants. If I can grab the zipper. So this is my last line of defense. Of course, I can also wear this if it's raining, and it does have another hood on it. And then here I am. Now I will say I don't have pockets on the outside of this. I'm just sitting around at camp and I'm not using this to stay dry, just stay warmer. All I do is just kind of pull it up just a little bit. I can still use the pockets on my my down inner jacket, parka. So anyway, that's my top layering system. Go ahead and pull some of this off because 55 degrees just does not warrant all these layers. As far as my head, I've got a couple of things. First off, I have this buff. The buff is an awesome piece of gear in my opinion. I can use it usually of two ways. If it's really cold, I'm going to have this around my neck. I'm going to have my Black Rock Gear down hat on my head. And of course, if I need to, I'll have my other hoods on. However, if I'm hiking along and it's not very cold at all, maybe just a slight breeze blowing, not real bad at all, I'll just turn this into a hoodie, a boggin, and I'll just wear it on my head as a boggin. And this has been really nice. I've probably hiked with it this way probably 70% of the time that I've used it. Hardly ever do I wear it around my neck, really just in the mornings when I wake up and it's still kind of cool outside. But as I start hiking, I'll generally pull my down hat off and pull this off my neck and put it on my hat, on my head. Also, this is more of a sleep item, but if it's super cold, I can still use it. This is just a face mask. And put that on. I can still breathe out of my nose, out of my mouth. Keeps my cheekbones warm and kind of helps the air that I'm breathing in. It kind of warms it up just a little bit as well too. Now this item I have not used to actually hike in, like I said, but if it got cold enough, I definitely would. But I like this. Now I do want to say, between my hat, my buff, and this, I could have just got a balaclava and done it all. However, I like having the versatility of having all three as separate pieces, even though there is a weight penalty there. That's just my preference, and that's what I like to do, and I've enjoyed doing it. And then last but not least is my hands. Very rarely, actually, do I use anything on my hands, but when I do, I've been using these ORPL 150 gloves, just a 150 weight fleece glove. And I can just wear those. If it's real cold in the morning, I might wear these when I start hiking. Not really a whole lot though. I do use these a lot to take my cook pots off of my fire whenever the water's boiling, because I don't use handles on my cook pots. I'll use these for that. And then as a waterproof or a windproof layer, I have my Z-Packs, waterproof, breathable Cuban fiber rain mitts. And I just put these over my gloves. And there I have it. And that's got my hands all good to go. Now I will say that there's been a couple occasions I've just wore just the mitts by themselves. And they actually do seem to transfer moisture pretty well because my hands can sweat. But if it's just kind of cold and windy, I might just wear just the over mitts while I'm actually hiking. But anyway, there is, like I said, a couple of new pieces that I'm thinking about trying out, or I have actually so far. One of them is this. This is an Icebreaker 200 weight wool shirt, and I'm going to try this out this winter as a base layer instead of my Capilene 2. Like I said, this is not an end-all, layering system I have. There's other things I want to try, but this is a wool. Biggest reason I want to try wool is to see about the stink factor, because my Capilene can stink. But also the only reason I got this is because it was 50% off on one of them websites. I can't remember which one. But anyway, I'm going to try this. The only thing, I wore this on the Roan Highland hike. The only thing I can say bad about it is that once these things get wet, they don't dry out near as fast as my synthetic, which is, understandable. Also on my Christmas list, I have one of the Capilene 4, I can't remember the name of it. It's one of the Capilene 4 hoodies. I don't know, there seems to be a big rave about them going on right now with a couple of lightweight hikers. They're lighter than the R1. They have a hoodie and they have thumb holes and thumb loops. So I've got that on my Christmas list. I'm thinking about trying it out instead of my R1. And then, to be quite honest, I have thought about getting rid of my Verto and trying out one of the Houdinis despite the extra weight, just because I've heard so many good things about the Houdinis. But that's still up in the air. One other thing I didn't mention, I have some waterproof rain pants. These again are dry ducks, and I can throw these over my bottom half if I'm still getting cool or anything like that. Or at night when I'm at camp and I'm wearing my down pants, I'll put these on over my down pants to help protect the down pants from getting ruined. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much my layering system, and it's worked really well for me so far. I'm really happy with it. And like I said, I'm going to continue to evolve and try different pieces and see how they do. But that's just worked for me. I love having all the different layers because it offers a lot of versatility, because you don't know exactly what conditions you're going to be hiking in necessarily. So it's good to be able to choose, pick and choose how you want to layer stuff to actually hike the trail that you're on. And that's just it for me, guys. So I appreciate you watching. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to post them below, and I'll do my best to get back to you and reply to those comments or answer any questions. And if you want to just share what kind of layering system you have that works for you, I'd be happy to listen to those, because, hey, maybe I'd like to incorporate some of that into mine. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time. See ya.